Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Found in Interpretation podcast. Once again, I'm one of your co-hosts, Alain Breton, and I'm here with Brian. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really pumped, and this is going to be an exciting episode. And we're for the second time we've had repeat guests now. So we have Joe again. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on.
My pleasure. So everyone, don't forget, like, share, subscribe is really important, especially this episode. It's going to be pretty exciting. So let's kick it. All right, so this is the second time, as we said, that we're greeting Joachim. If you want to check his bio, then watch the previous episode. But we're here because he published a book. It's called AI Resilient: How Freelancers and Entrepreneurs Can Thrive, Charge More, and Stay Irreplaceable in the Age of AI. So we're here to talk about this book. Joachim, why did you decide to write a book?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Okay, well, there are many reasons why I decided to write this book. It is a book for interpreters and translators, but in fact, the reason I wrote it is a bit broader. This was maybe November of last year. I noticed that my graphic designer was telling me she didn't have as much work these days because of AI. My programmer friend was telling me he was moving into a new job position because he knew his position would be obsolete in 3 years max. And just almost everyone I talked to was like, yeah, my profession is being shuffled around with AI, or I'm thinking about leaving my profession. And of course, in translation interpreting, we saw this with the Microsoft top 40 so-called replaceable jobs. Translation interpreting is actually number one on that list. So I wrote the book. Yeah, it's topping the list, and I wrote the book because
we're
I thought,
on top of the list.
We are on top of the list currently as of today in early August 2025. And yeah, so I wrote the book because all of us are affected by this in the knowledge professions, and yet I jumped on Amazon. I couldn't find a single book on how to respond to this massive change. Right? I thought there's got to be something there, but this was in November of last year, and there was nothing there on the subject. So I thought, well, if there's nothing up there, I'll write the darn book myself. And that's the backstory. That's it.
That's awesome. And since then, it's been a number one bestseller on Amazon in specific categories, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to say it actually
Or
topped the
overall.
charts on 5 different book categories on Amazon. So really exceeded all expectations. And so I think it resonated with a lot of people in interpreting and translating, but also in other fields as well, because we feel so alone sometimes. We feel so isolated, but we're not. There are so many other people in adjacent professions and even non-adjacent professions that are really significantly being impacted by AI. So I think the book ended up sort of hitting home for a lot of people that are wondering, where do we go from here?
And how many interviews have you been doing? Because I'm assuming you're quite popular these days.
I don't know about popular, but I am doing interviews.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. The day after I published the book, the BBC reached out to me and they said, hey, we want someone to come talk on the radio early tomorrow morning in the UK. And I'm like, the UK, what time is that for me? Close to Montreal. It was 3 a.m. And they're like, oh, so you're probably not interested. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. 3 a.m. Let's go. I'm drinking coffee. So I spoke on the BBC. I've gone in a few different places. I've spoken for OTAC, which is Quebec's, actually Canada's largest language association. So I did a talk for them and a few others, and a podcast for coaches as well with Jay Allison. And I've got some others already in the books. So yeah, I'm trying to get the message out there that this is not the end.
Now, I saw in one of your posts that I think it was the BBC. They're asking you, Joe, are you being naive? I know that you gave a good answer, but do you now that you've had time to think about it, would you have given a different answer, or would you like to?
Well, can you first repeat what the first answer was? Because I'm not aware of that.
Oh, okay, go.
Sure. Yeah, well, basically, I told them, we're not being replaced because you need human judgment to do things like provide a quality text that's going to achieve its intended purpose, or to interpret a conference properly and avoid a lawsuit or serious problems down the road. And they said, "Are you being naive, Joe? Because after all, we know AI is getting better and better and better, and everyone's seeing this practically in real time. Where like, if you don't use ChatGPT for a couple months, you jump back on and you do the same prompt, and the output is better, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. But so let's be clear about this. The AI does not actually understand what you put into it.
Hmm.
Doesn't actually understand. It is getting better at making inferences. So, and we make inferences too as humans. So definitely, I think I would answer the same way and say it's true. AI is getting better. It will continue to get better, at least for the foreseeable future, in part simply because they're getting better by training on user data, right? That's how they're getting better. It's really not very complicated. They look at what is useful to people. They have many, many different ways that they can tell when people find information actionable and useful. And they use those data points to refine the engine. So the short answer is I would say the same thing. Like AI is getting better, and we still have a bright future ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No, I find like, yeah, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, this is like the best employee I've ever had because it doesn't talk back. It does exactly what I ask it to do. And if it doesn't, then I correct it and then it does it better. Like,
Yeah, it's funny because actually they had to re-release ChatGPT 4.0 for that reason because it was fawning in its praise, right? Like ChatGPT would like you'd give a prompt and it would say like, okay, it'll give you an answer, and then you say, oh, but actually what you just said is wrong. And then it would answer you by saying, "You're so smart. You've got an eagle eye. You've got such an eye for detail, Joe.
you're the
You're
best.
right. I'm wrong. Let's back up, buddy. Let's redo this." It's
Are you free? Are you single?
Every
pretty
boss
much.
likes that. Every boss wants an
Yeah.
employee that says, "Oh, boss, thank you for correcting me. Thank you. That's why you're the boss and I'm the employee. Thank you."
Exactly. Well, it's obsequious and it's fawning in its praise. And so they had to actually scale that back a little bit. And also, they're trying to get people to use it in a more critical way. So we've seen that in at least two new ways recently with some of the rollouts we've seen in recent months. One of them is that if, for example, you put a YouTube link into ChatGPT to get a summary, at the end of the summary, it's now giving you like 3 quick questions for critical thinking. Like, is this really true? Is this always true?
Yeah.
Maybe check
Noticed.
other
Yeah.
sources.
Yeah. Would you like me
But
to check this as well? Would you like me to do this as well?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
um,
Yeah, and even mode like there's the uh, tutor mode now as well. So they're
Hmm.
trying to adapt ChatGPT for education purposes, and now you can go into tutor mode where it won't just give you answers. It will have you think to get the answers, and it'll kind of be like a tutor and use the Socratic method and use questions to elicit answers from the student. So we see some attempts to like change things around,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's where it is.
I'd like to dive a little bit more into the content of the book. Um, Now that we went a bit over the surface, and one of the very first chapters, you talk about AI misperceptions. So, can you explain what you meant by that?
Sure. Well, in the book, when I talk about misperception, it's more like we know that AI is not that good typically when we're inside of a profession and we see the kinds of errors that it makes. But from the outside, people that just see like the results of a quick prompt, they're just immediately wowed. And so it sort of creates this strange rift where like we know that AI is not as good as it's often pumped up to be, but clients are hearing the opposite. And they're thinking that they see the opposite because they're wowed when they see the first result, right? It's the same for other fields as well. You can have AI do some graphic design for you, and at first blush, you're going to go, wow, that's a really impressive design. But is it the same thing that you're going to get with a graphic designer that's going to do like a complete proper brand analysis, make sure that you're consistent on different channels, that you're consistent with your business storytelling and all that? Probably not. But the problem with a misperception basically is that our value, in my opinion, has not decreased, but the perception of that value sometimes has decreased.
Hmm.
So then it becomes a matter of like, how do we talk to clients about this?
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, the other thing that you have done in the book, which I found really interesting, was to apply Ikigai. Like, there's a lot of models out there. Why that one in particular? Um,
Yeah, I mean, for me, this comes from coaching a lot of translators. So I've coached a lot of translators and a lot of interpreters to grow their businesses. I've also coached small agencies and like boutique firms, and so we often have to have this difficult but necessary conversation about whether they're target audience, their target clients, really, their avatars, whether they're aligned with a real market need. And it can be a difficult conversation to have, but you can't really create demand. I mean, there are some really good copywriters that under certain B2C conditions can create demand, right? But even there, it's often unethical to create demand. It's, usually the ethical and easier, or not easier, but more successful advice is typically to find where there is a hot demand and go there, right?
Yeah,
With your
absolutely.
business.
Yeah.
But sometimes AI has changed the game, and there are markets that are not doing as well as they used to. And it's tough. But unlike ChatGPT, which will just tell you, "Oh, you have such a great idea, do this," and it's like always going to be a yes man. Often, as a business coach, I'm sort of the opposite of ChatGPT. I'm like, "Have you considered that maybe there is no more demand here? Maybe we need to look at what cross-cutting skills you have that we can develop into an adjacent vertical."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel
basically,
like
you're.
you're sorry, go ahead, Alain.
Oh no, but I was just thinking. Basically, you're saying that ChatGPT can give you an answer, but in your case, you're looking at the dead angle.
Well, with Ikigai specifically, it's like we're trying to find the intersection, that magical intersection of uh, where is there hot demand, where can you be paid to do what you do, what do you love to do, and what are you good at. So that's the Ikigai, is like finding the sweet spot where all four of those criteria are going to converge.
I don't know if people can see well. You can type Ikigai. About Ikigai,
There you
yeah,
go.
Ikigai
Well, that's
is so
ChatGPT. There you go.
Ikigai is a Japanese word. It's all about finding what you love to do, what the world needs, your strength, and get paid for them. And
That's right.
inside of that little graph, if people type Ikigai,
Ikigai is fulfilling a lot of roles in terms of like how it's being rolled out, and not just the prompts, but all the applications that are out there, like business applications or analytics that use AI. There's AI for content creation. So it is, in its own way, it's also finding its Ikigai in the sense that it is genuinely useful and there's money being made off of it. But usually the concept is for the business owner, like, have you aligned all these four criteria so that you have a successful business?
Now, yeah, that's what I liked about your book, in particular, in my case as a business owner, is that I've become so repetitive, like doing the same thing over and over, that it becomes almost robotic. Whereas, like, what your book is telling entrepreneurs to do is like, yeah, no, actually, like, you should really take the time to do give the personal touch, and like remind people, yeah, you're not a machine, you're human, and you have feelings and emotions, and you have a, a more, say, like intimate relationship with your clients than an AI tool would. So that's what it brought for my business, is that, oh, I got to remember, like, that extra, it doesn't take that much time either, just that extra little sentence, like, I hope you're doing well, or like, enjoy the sunshine, like stuff like that, right? Like, and
Absolutely.
yeah, so I thought, like, having that personal touch was so good, such a good reminder. And like, if for other entrepreneurs out there, I do suggest you read that for that purpose, because a lot of us do fall into that trap of making things repetitive and robotic.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
that's why.
oh, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, but I'm just gonna add on to what Brian said. That's one point actually I liked about your book, is because you're basically saying, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that since AI can already provide a certain number of answers and do a certain number of things, it becomes even more important to engage and become a partner with your client rather than simply having a transactional relationship.
That is exactly right. You are both spot on, and that's really the heart of the book. It's funny because it has AI in big letters on the title, so people assume it's a book about AI per se, but a lot of it is like, how do we respond to it? Well, I think a big part of the answer is to humanize our business in the age of AI. So everyone's going in this direction of like putting everything on autopilot as much as possible and using AI, and I'm going in the other direction. I'm building more human and more personal relationships with clients through things like video calls, meeting with clients physically, speaking to them like fellow human beings. And so that's had a transformative impact on my own business. So it's the heart and soul of my approach in my book.
Now, just to play a bit of devil's advocate, um, there are salespeople who do sell AI, and what would prevent them from like just reading the book and then just applying some of the stuff so that they can launch or like promote AI and have that personal touch as well?
There's nothing to prevent anyone from using the methods that I suggest in the book. But essentially, I suppose my response would be that even if they did, either way, there's going to be people selling all kinds of stuff on the market, some of it legitimate, some of it not legitimate. Overall, I think if we have more human relationships, if we build up trust, if we become partners, if we're honest with clients, if our product or service is not right for them,
Hmm.
all of these things are going to make the world a better place on the balance. So even if it was to be used for, to sell AI to replace humans, um, like, you know, I think it's still a better sales technique overall to speak with people, to get to know them, to have conversations, to be honest about what's useful and what is not. And I find that a lot of businesses do not work that way. Like you said, they're very transactional,
Hmm.
or the sales is very manipulative. I'm all about ethical selling, ethical persuasion. And I don't think it's a bad word either. Like sales can be a great thing when it's done right. I mean, I've often gone to buy something and the salesperson was like, well, based on everything you told me, I don't think this is necessarily the right solution for you, but you might consider this thing. That's also selling, but it's very ethical and very integral because you're being honest about what's going to serve someone. And that's going to play in your favor in the long term anyway. People will be more satisfied if you tell them the truth, and in the long term it's going to grow your business. So regardless of what people are selling, I think there is a better way to sell that is more focused on ethics and integrity, and those are things that I love to teach basically.
Yeah. And now, I one of the other things that I thought interesting was, and that wasn't talked about a lot, is that a lot of people don't necessarily know how to use technology. So, like, to be told all of a sudden, "Oh, you're going to use AI now," it's like, okay, like, Whereas, like, if you're if you're already used to using interpreters or translators, like, you're in your comfort zone at that point. So, like, I don't um, see it being as big of a threat when you already have clients who are maybe not as well versed in technology, and like they just want to have like the same output that they already had. They already have a good relationship with you. They already have like quality product at the end. So, like, I think that it's maybe not as big as of a threat as people make it out to be. Maybe.
Right on. And you've done that hard work of building that relationship, of
Hmm.
delivering consistently time after time, of following up, of providing good after sales service, right? So you have years and years of excellent service. And um, the reputation of UN language services is very well known. You guys are known for this human touch and for providing great service.
Hmm.
So, I think that you're doing it exactly right. And so uh, my book is sort of an attempt to codify some of these practices that make for great business. And then you're right, you don't really have to work so hard. And I think the ultimate irony is that a lot of the techniques I show in the book, they don't make it harder to sell, they make it easier. Like I gave
Speaking of that, out of all those techniques, do you have a favorite one that you use for your own business?
I have lots of favorite ones. There's one that I love to tell the story that I love to give out when I have a good sort of a top client, right? A top premium client, and I want to show appreciation. Something I've often done is give them a gift card to the local spa. So here in Quebec, we have Nordic spas where they have like hot tubs outside. They've got cold tubs. They've got the eucalyptus sauna. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, the hot and cold treatments, and
Yes,
oh yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thermal thing. And so I've been known to send these after a big project to my top clients and say like, "Hey, thank you so much, and I know you've been working so hard. You probably enjoy an evening off. This one's on me." And it's actually happened to me before, where I've met clients at that spa because I have a membership, so I'm there like all the time. And I literally meet clients there, and they're like, "Thank you so much for the card. It's so funny that we're meeting here, and that we'd like sit in the jacuzzi and talk for a while." And like,
It's weird to
and
see you like in your bathing suit.
it's really funny. Yes, it's fun to see clients in your respective bathing suits, um, but once the initial awkwardness is overcome, it's so enjoyable because you realize that you're just two people, and we have great conversations. I actually just went back to the spa with a client last week, so this is like, if I had to choose one thing, I think my all-time favorite is like giving out gift cards to my local Nordic spa and meeting my clients there and chilling at the spa And inevitably, like there are places where you can speak, like there's a big open jacuzzi, so you're allowed to speak there. And we always chat like about this, that, and the other thing, and potential collaborations. And that's not a hard way to do business. That's an easy way to do business. That's the hot tub method. That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
In Japan, there I went several times to these kinds of spa, but in Japan, everybody's naked.
Oh, that might
So
be a little too. That might be one step
you've
too
got
far for
nothing
me.
to hide.
Right. Well, it's funny because I tried to find something similar to Quebec's Nordic spas in Ontario recently because I was in Toronto. We couldn't find anything like that, but we went to like a day spa in like an Asian neighborhood, and it was really different, totally different aesthetic, different thing. Like everyone was talking, so it was like a very chatty place. There were like these high ceilings, and some people were naked, other people were not. It was just a totally different vibe. So I don't know. I think maybe that the whole, clothes on, that might be a requirement for me, but each their own.
Well, if you ever go to Japan and try, you have no other choice. Everybody's it's all of course it's men on one side, women on the other, but yeah, all men are naked, and actually many senior men go there and they chat with their friends, and they got they're retired, and and so if you go to the old ones.
We'll have to do a founded interpretation after hours.
With little blur, we got a blur.
Yes. Well, count me out, guys. That's
Oh yeah, let's all be
Uh,
thankful that we're not
but
doing this
but
in a
but
Japanese spot.
but I think that, I mean, was what you're explaining about making things more human. This was already your approach before AI, right? So basically, you're applying. I'm getting to know you, so you're applying what you've always done, and you've adapted to the age of AI, and you've put into a book. Am I wrong in that assumption?
Well, that's exactly right. And I continue to find new ways that I can use AI myself to humanize my business, which might sound surprising, but I'll give you a very down to earth example. As soon as I receive an email that's a bit delicate or that might require a longer answer, it would take more than a couple minutes to draft, I will use a video app. So I'll record a quick video of me speaking. I'll just go through their email and answer one by one, all the points. And then I'll shoot it over, and they can click to get a transcription as well if they prefer to read rather than listen to the
Well,
video.
so you reply to an email with a video?
Yes, a video email they're calling it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the app?
There are many different ones. I personally use one called Vento, Vento.
Huh. All right, I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, it's super simple. But you would not believe how it changes your relationship with your clients because then,
Yeah.
very quickly you get to a first name basis, or if you're speaking in French, you start using tu rather than vous. It's like they suddenly see the human behind the email address. And that's always been something I've believed in. But we can actually use AI to find clever new ways to take this even further. So I love being a little bit contrarian. I'm like flipping the usual AI assumptions on their head and saying, let's see how we can use it to build up relationships in new ways. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And one thing that I found, and it's not in your book, but because your book is really like how to succeed as an entrepreneur in the age of AI. But I think that it does weed out also the ones who aren't successful entrepreneurs prior to AI coming, like becoming part of our ethos. Like, uh, there's some interpreters who aren't great, and like they try to get clients by maybe lowering their rates or by doing other things. And I feel like this in the age of AI, you're actually weeding those people out because you can be as personable and likable of a character as you are, but if you're not going to give a quality service, then forget it, right? Like,
Yeah, and my overall sense is that for better or for worse, I kind of see this happening over time where like we have a more premium market up here that's like going up, and
hmm
we have sort of like a mid-market to lower market that's going down. So it's like the gap is getting bigger, right?
yeah,
People who are very successful, or let's say people who already had a successful business, who are providing good service, who are highly qualified, who had credentials.
yeah,
Now with AI, in many cases, they are doing better. People who do not have qualifications and who are not quite able to get their quality or get their services up to premium, it's going to be harder for them. But my goal with the book is to like help them join the former category, help them go up, let's all get credentialed, let's all get certified, let's all go and get grab whatever kind of certification or degree that you need so that you are a genuine professional and you know what you're doing, and then you want to sell that as being premium quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same thing, the parallel that I can make is you've got kids nowadays that can't even finish high school and can't even read and write well. And on the other hand, you've got the other kids that get the good grades, get the qualification, get the career, and then because of AI and technological changes, suddenly I think that the gap between those who don't have any education and those that do, and then the wage gap over a lifetime will be enormous. And I think that this, just like in our field or in anything else, this is just one more thing that comes and widens the gap between different kinds of people in society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I like to think too that there is how could I put it? Not light at the end of the tunnel. That's too drastic, but there is a silver lining. That's what I'm looking for. There's a silver lining, which is that one great thing about 2025 is that it has never been easier to go and get certifications. Professional development is so accessible. There are so many wonderful online courses out there. There are so many people teaching things. There are AI tools that you can learn from as well. There are short programs. There are long programs. I'm currently recording. I'm in the midst of recording mini courses for ITI, the British Institute of Translators. So it's like these are on-demand courses. Learn at your own pace. You can do one like 8-minute module at a time. And so you're right. The gap is growing. I think the silver lining to me is that it's it's easier than ever to get whatever credentials you need. And even for someone who doesn't necessarily have a university degree, there are so many like short training things you can do. There's even like Google certifications. There are a million different ways that you can gain recognition. Even like with the Quebec Translators Association, it used to be pretty strict, right? Like you had to have your degree, then you have to have your work supervised, then like once upon a time you had to take a test, God forbid, to become certified. And today it's like as soon as you've studied translation and you apply for it, you become a member. And like we see this in a lot of places where to help people bridge that gap and join the premium category, they're going to make it more accessible to take courses from home, to complete things a little bit faster, to do it at your own pace. Like there are lots of ways that you can become credentialed. Like I even have like maybe 50 courses that I'm signed up for. I haven't done them all, but I have lots of courses I'm signed up for on Udemy. And a lot of them are like, they're certified courses. You get to the end of it and you have a certificate and you're certified this or that. You can put it on your website and LinkedIn. Not a lot of people do it, but it's not hard to go and get credentials today.
And the other thing that I liked about your book too was the that it's not just, even though you're a translator and you have like an excellent reputation in the industry and everything, you didn't just center it on translation. This is like a book that can be transferred. This knowledge can be transferred into other professions, which I think was awesome too. That you're not just centering into one industry. Like I keep thinking graphic design. I don't know why. Every time that I think of your book, I think of graphic designers because
because we had to deal with a graphic design when we set up this show. So that's why.
Okay, interesting.
That's one of the things. Yeah. And actually,
See,
like, it was really
we
good.
didn't use AI.
That's true. And actually, we were kind of hit on the fingers because we suggested maybe we could do something with AI. But
were you going to mention that? Were you really going to mention that?
I gotta mention. I gotta be honest, man. We're like, oh, can we do AI? But like the thing is, like that's the thing when you're doing like say graphic designer.
He wasn't happy. Like he wasn't happy. He's like, no, this is forbidden. Like I'm not going to use AI. Okay.
We're like,
sorry, we suggested it. Sorry, we didn't do it. Yeah.
We're totally in this era where the lines get blurred quickly, right?
Yes.
And there are some elements that are better handed off to AI. So it's not always the same things today that you should go to a human for. Like I'm thinking of a few examples. Like when I had my book cover designed, I could have just had Amazon design my book cover, but then it just would have been very bland.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a human, hired a human. But there are other things that I've used AI for. One thing that I really like, there's a guy on YouTube, I really like his business stuff. His name is Graham Cochran, and I actually subscribe to his AI app. So you can ask him questions. And I just like he just has a brilliant mind, like really, really brilliant ideas for how you could develop a business and the mistakes people typically are making and things like that. And so I'm subscribed to his app. So technically, it's true that he's like losing out on business if I were to hire him one on one. But as a result of that, he's able to scale his coaching and get thousands of people on his app, right? So he's actually making more money because he's scaling his coaching with this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the old paradigms and models. It's like, is it human or AI? Sometimes it's changing. It becomes human and AI, or it becomes the AI option that's like part of the human package. There are like AI wizards out there right now, right? Like everything is changing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like when it coming back to this whole graphic designer thing, like I think that it's kind of getting people to improve what they're doing currently in a lot of ways, like with the tools that you're offering. Like for example, if somebody goes and says, "Listen, I got a new business and I want to get a logo, like a really cool logo," the graphic designer will come up with a few things, and then like if you compare with say like an AI tool that specializes in doing logos for company, it'll maybe come up with something similar. But once you get like a graphic designer that like you chat with them and they understand your business and they're like, oh yeah, these are the colors that would work best for you guys. This is the kind of font you should use. This, like, once you have that, like, which is the tools that are in the book, then I think that's how you can stand out more, and like, and being able to apply those things that you've promised on too. Like not just like, it's nice to be like I said, like a nice person or whatnot, but if you're not good at what you do, like yeah, even this book maybe is not for you.
Yeah, no, you're right. It really is tailored that way, and I think that's the right approach. Is we're going to use AI to add value. And I'm sure that people that I hire use AI in all kinds of ways. I don't ask them if they're using AI or not. I'm buying an outcome, right?
Yeah.
If I go to my IT person, they're probably using AI in a million different ways to fix up my whatever, my Google admin console or whatever I might need some help with.
Hmm.
But it's like it doesn't diminish them. It's just that they're using the right tool, and if they deliver faster, um, so much the better. And provided you have a good pricing model set up, then everyone wins really. So I
Yeah,
have nothing against AI if it's used to add value.
absolutely.
People don't always realize, like people who are not in the people who are not in the field sometimes will have misconceptions about what the AI really does. For instance, this morning I got a friend who basically asked me to do every once in a while translations that are published in the editorial section of newspapers. And then this morning he said, "Oh, what if I send you an AI translation? Can you do some post correction?" And I haven't replied yet, but basically I'll say, well, the problem is the first draft that I would get from a ChatGPT or a DeepL or whatever, it's flat. And if you're publishing in a newspaper, you got to have a bit of color and style. And it's not just about sharing some information. You're trying to convince people about your point of view.
Yeah.
And if you just rely on an AI, it'll take me more time actually to take the text and to read what the AI has produced, to take a look at the original, to compare both and say, well, you know what, stylistically, it doesn't fit for this, and that reason. So I'll spend even more time on it. So basically, I'll just say, just give me the original and let me figure it out. And I think that we have to be able to explain certain things to clients.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are self-employed, you're an entrepreneur, may you be a translator, an interpreter, or whatever else, it's part of the job to be able to educate clients about what the tool really does. Because these companies, that like OpenAI or Microsoft or whatever, they basically they created the internet. They're the ones who are hyping this up, and they're making everyone believe that we're going to lose our jobs, that the world's going to completely change. But why are they doing this? Maybe they're doing this to get more money in order to basically finance and to get more money to do all of this that they want to do. So I think that there's a lot of hype out there, and ChatGPT came in November 2022. And if people had to predict back then what 2025 would look like, everybody was predicting that it was going to be the end of the world and wouldn't have work anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm busy as I can ever be. It's just different. You have to reinvent yourself constantly.
That's right. It can be stressful, but I think you really have the right attitude. In my book, I describe this as one-click everything. Like the AI companies that make you think everything is there with one click, and it's just not true. Or if it is true, it's possible that they're getting you. Let's say that they get you 90% of the way there. This is very interesting because we can make parallels at this point. If they get you 90% of the way toward, let's say, having a publishable quality text, right? There's still 10% missing. And that 10% is important. And in other fields, if you look, for example, let's take this to the hard sciences. There's a name for this. It's called the last mile challenge. So there's a reason why electric vehicles or self-driving vehicles, rather, are not everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, even though the technology will get you like 90% there, there's still this little 10% of like, who's accountable? In a dangerous situation, should you do this or that? Can we completely trust it? Are people comfortable with it? Is it really going to get you to the right place? And so it's like the hard part wasn't getting it to 90%. It's the last mile that's difficult, of getting that final, like, eradicating humans, which we're not comfortable with typically, and which will not always achieve the goal. Like another example we could take is, like, let's say I had my book cover designed by Amazon's automatic book cover creator. Let's say it did the best possible job.
Have you tried?
90% there.
Have you
I've
just
not
tried,
tested
or
it.
you decided not to try it? Not even to try it.
I decided not to try it, but
Okay.
but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it gets you 90% there, like a good cover. Your book can be a complete failure, because if your book cover doesn't stand out, like, research shows that you get very, very, very few clicks. Very few people will buy. It is 100% true that people will judge a book by its cover. It's human nature, especially in 2025. And so that last 10% matters. That's why I hired Human, is to achieve the outcome of, like, having a really great cover that would get the right interest from the right people in the right way. So that last 10% really counts.
But isn't it about like, in a way, if we know that this book cover was created by a human, it shows that you believe in your own project. If you use an AI to do your book cover, in a way, it shows that, you know what, I'm trying to cut some corners, save some cost. And as a customer, maybe I'll think that your book is not as good as it is because you have not invested everything, you didn't go all in. You said, well, you know what, I'm going to get the AI to do a certain number of things. Like, for instance, for a podcast with Brian, we paid a graphic designer and to do the little intro music that you see, and we did all of that. We took the time. It cost money, and we're not making money with this podcast. I'll be honest here, we're not. We're investing a lot of our time, resource, energy, and all of that. Why? Because we believe in it. We didn't cut corners by taking AI. We decided to take our own money, pay for it, and whatever happens then. But we believe in our project, and I think that that's very important. I don't even know if people are aware of it, but at least unconsciously, people must be aware of that.
I think so. I hired humans for everything for my book, from the cover design to editing, to publishing advice. And for me also, I made no money. So I guess.
But you're number one on Amazon. Hold on. You're number one on Amazon. You must make like, I'm not asking, but
Yeah, no, you make money with a big bestseller, but like, looking at the overall costs, like, it did not break even, right? Like, there's a lot of cost that went into producing the book, but I still, produced it for many reasons. Like, but what really helped me, and maybe this is something that ties in with what you're saying about your wonderful podcast, which is, like, it's also about meaning. Like, what is the reason, the deep meaning why you do what you do? For me, at some point, I literally sat down and journaled, and I was like, okay, why am I writing this book? And I finally pinned it down to two things. First of all, I'm writing the book to help people. That's my number one. All these people I know were going through a hard time and not knowing what to answer clients in the age of AI. So I want to help people. And then number two, I wanted that bestseller status. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to invest like months and months of effort, and tons of time and you wouldn't believe all the complicated stuff around publishing a book, even on Amazon. I wanted to have that bestseller status because it does open doors. It gets the radio knocking on your door for interviews. It gets you hired to come speak in different places, which I love to do. So I kind of whittled it down to, I want to help people and I want to get the bestseller status because I know that's going to, open doors for me. So because I'm clear on that, I'm very happy with the outcome. I wasn't looking to make money with the book, but similarly for you guys, I'm sure just knowing the two of you that you probably do it also to help people. And that certainly, to me, that shows in your podcast. I've listened to a few of your episodes, and that definitely comes across for me that you're doing this as an act of service. And I think that's the right place. And in the long term, it will come back to you.
One of the things about your book too, I thought maybe you could mention it as well, as the toolkit. I thought that was really, really neat to impart your knowledge that way. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, essentially, one thing I wanted to do in publishing this book is to offer a simple document people could download, just a few pages. I'm a big fan of one page each for things, just a place that you can write down your thoughts and reflect on the book and go through some of the exercises, because it can be very abstract if it's just in the pages of a book.
Mm-hmm.
So when you grab the book, there are multiple links to just go and grab the bonus toolkit, and it's simply an aid to implementation. It does also get you on a new email list. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what I'm going to do with that list. It's just people are on it. I'm sending them sporadic emails to say, hey, thanks for grabbing my book. But since I put that out there, a number of people have reached out to me from the list and said, hey, I loved your book. Do you happen to offer coaching? Our agency would like to hire you. Let's talk. And so it's actually gotten me a whole bunch of bookings from all different people. So it's nice. It's a nice way to just keep the conversation going as well. But for right now, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing with that list. I think it's going to be sort of a sporadic, occasional bonuses, occasional offers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because your book is alive. Like, you can still make some changes to it. You can still update it, because you wrote about something that's in constant evolution. So yeah,
Right.
maybe that's an option.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah,
I've
this
got a
is one
hard
good thing
copy
about
of the book,
Amazon.
but you also have a Kindle copy, like a PDF or ebook
Oh,
format.
you're out of luck, Alain. As soon as I update it, that one is useless. You are just, it's good for the,
Yeah, I was
good
like,
for
oh
recycling.
no, I'm gonna keep.
No, I'm only
I
kidding.
like.
No, actually, it's funny. This particular book, I really don't believe that it will be obsolete in the next few years, because it's really focused on those human principles and how to build a great business and how to respond in a respond proactively and successfully to AI. So I'm not worried about this one being out of date. I am thinking about writing maybe a follow-up book that would be more about how to use AI, and that one would go out of date almost the day I publish it.
Yeah.
So that one, we need to have a plan for updating it regularly. But I will say that's one positive thing about Amazon. Say what you will about them. What's pretty great is that you can just come back with a new version of your manuscript and upload it. And, it's going to be live within 72 hours after it's been reviewed for their quality standards. So there are some
Wow.
advantages to working with Amazon.
Are you also available on other books, like other bookstores, or are you only selling online?
For the moment, I'm only with Amazon. I might start approaching other bookstores. I don't know. I've always have a bunch of ideas and crazy stuff I'm doing. I also want to make an audiobook out of it. And it's funny because I know I'm just jumping from one subject to the other here, but
This is
I
a
got an
podcast. We can
email.
do that.
Perfect. It's actually, I was a little bit upset because Amazon wrote to me after I published my book and they said, hey, Joe, congrats on your book. By the way, you qualify for having an AI read your book to create a one-click. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Create a one-click audiobook, which is the
Did
ultimate
not
irony
expect
considering what
that.
the book is about, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Have you read the title?
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, they're dead to irony, but
I
yeah.
want your book to be narrated by Morgan Freeman. To be honest, I think
Oh,
that'd
I
be
would like
great.
that.
Or maybe a British, someone with a British accent.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be good.
true. Oh, I like the British angle. That
Yeah,
would be nice.
yeah. My wife, she reads a lot of murder mysteries, just like the not the maybe like more fluff kind of stuff, and
Hmm.
it's always the British lady, and I listen to it in the car, and I'm like, wow, that's like I'm enjoying the book just because of the voice. So
I love it. I'm actually jotting that down. I love UK readers too.
No,
yeah.
I tried audiobooks and I can't. Like, because I keep interpreting.
Mm.
It's true. If I have an audiobook, the first thing that I'll do is I'll start interpreting. And
Oh,
then I'm
poor you.
like,
It's like an occupational hazard. You can't turn it off.
No.
no. That's why I watch pro wrestling. Um, no, it's
I
true.
get it.
If I'm really tired, I have a long day or something, I'll just watch some pro wrestling and some guys throwing themselves on table ladders and chairs. Like there's something about wrestling that basically turns my brain off.
Oh, it's funny. I
That
find I cannot
almost
read.
nothing else can.
Yeah. Well, you need something, right, to get your mind off of
Yeah.
work at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And like I cannot read um books, like books, like actual physical books. I can't read them after a day of translation. It's not possible. My brain cannot handle it. It's overload, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like when I get in the car, well, even more before when I used to be on the road a lot, I wasn't able to listen to the news because I'd be interpreting the news.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
same
like, oh,
thing.
let's put some heavy metal on instead.
There you go.
Rage Against the
Heavy
Machine,
metal.
Brian.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and like in my case, I've stopped reading nonfiction. I used to read a lot of nonfiction, but then when my interpreting career started and all of that, and after a while, I can't because we're so close to
Mhm.
current events that basically nonfiction now feels like work.
Yeah.
So I went back into my old sci-fi tastes,
Oh, what
and
sci-fi do you
I
read?
just finished the Three Body Problem trilogy.
Oh, I've
I
heard of it.
read
I've heard
the
that's really good.
yeah, not that don't watch a Netflix series. It's no. I watched like 3 episodes and I said this sucks, but I'm sure the books are great. And I stopped the Netflix series and then I read the whole trilogy. The Silo trilogy as well. It's a series now on Apple TV Plus. Basically, humanity lives down a silo. It's really good. It's a trilogy as well. I just read that this year as well. So and yeah. So and now that I've finished reading this and one more book for the podcast, I'm gonna try to find more sci-fi books to read. I wanted to read the Encounter with Rama, I think it's called, from Arthur C. Clarke. That's Denis Villeneuve will be directing that. So I
Oh, no
wanted to
kidding.
read. Yeah, I wanted to read that before it hits the theater.
Is Denis Villeneuve
Um,
the one that who did Dune as well?
yeah, exactly,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
So
I went through the Helldivers series, the first 5 books. I listened to them. So for me, it's the opposite of you. Like I work on text on screen. So in the evening, I like to listen to books. And the Helldivers series, I'm trying to remember the author's name, but it was so good, so satisfying. Also, sort of post-apocalyptic survival. It's sort of like one of those series where there's something for everybody. There's a little bit of mutant creatures. There's a lot of science in there. There's some political intrigue,
Cool.
just survivalist stuff, gritty scenes, just perfect for getting getting your mind off of your work at the end of the day.
Disconnected.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
I, yeah, I was thinking about reading the Hail Mary book because I saw a trailer at the cinema over the weekend, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks interesting." So I thought of maybe it's another sci-fi book that I thought about reading.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
It's the author that did the Martian.
Okay.
oh
Like
yeah,
it was,
Matt
and
Damon was in that, I think.
yeah, exactly.
So I do have one last question because we are kind of running out of time and whatnot. But I'm just wondering, like, how do you feel like after having like a best-selling book? Like, what's your like? Are you like just in awe, or like you didn't? I don't think this was something you expected to happen, right? Like,
No, I mean, I was certainly hoping to make it to some bestseller list, but I wasn't expecting it to take off the way it did. I would tell you it's sort of like winning the lottery. Like for about 48 hours, you're going out of your mind, going, "Oh my god, oh my god, I'm famous." I've got like everyone's talking about it, and then like 48 hours is like, "Yep, back to real life."
we're waiting to hit that with found an interpretation, or the algorithm that'll get us 1 million views in one day.
It's true that there's something to be said for like the set point, right? Like you have your general set point, and like something happens and it's like you're super excited for a while, and then you go back to like, yeah, like, okay, like life continues, and it's a cool thing. And I have my ups and downs like everyone else, and things in my business that are going amazing and other things that I'm working on or that I'm not happy with. And yeah, it's just like life goes on. But I'm really glad that I did it. And I would also emphasize that it's very doable. You know, like I had a wonderful book writing coach. Her name is Michelle Culp. And I really liked her take on writing books, which is like AI can produce the knowledge that anyone would want today, right? Anyone can jump on ChatGPT or Perplexity and find out almost anything. So the reason you write a book in 2025 is not to necessarily write like a 400-page tome with a bunch of references. AI can do that. If you write a book in 2025, you write it because you have a message from the heart, and you have a unique angle, or a different take, maybe a contrarian take on something, a popular subject. That's why you write a book, because it's going to help people. It's going to help them process. It's going to help people find meaning as well. It's like sense making. And so that's why I would like to write more, because there's plenty of information out there. I think there's always a need for sense making and for connecting ideas in human ways. And that's exactly what you guys do on this podcast. So I think it's very, very much aligned with the same reason why you guys create content.
Yeah.
Was it your first book?
It was, yeah.
Hey,
So
wow! You broke the ice. You broke the ice. You got to write one a year now.
Yeah.
I sure would like that. I'm working on a second book. I started the intro this morning on
AI 2.
Yeah, how to use
the sequel.
AI. The sequel, yeah.
AI squared.
Why not?
I hope it's not the revenge of AI.
I've watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day, so I think that's it.
Yeah, that's as far as we go.
Joachim, congratulations, by the way.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. Once again, everyone, I'll do it like this. So it's wider there. Okay, so everyone, geez, I'm really bad at this. So everyone, this is the book, AI Resilient by Joachim Lépine. You can find it on Amazon, and you gotta take a look at this book. It's not very thick. You can read it in a night or one evening or two, but even if it doesn't take long to read, I can tell you that the advice will last you a lifetime. On that note, like, share, subscribe. Brian, Joachim, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. See you later.
Cheers.